To South Africa last Sunday. Jamie Mayer comes in at inside centre for the injured. They have no illusions about the task facing them today. Pablo Lemoine, the referee, Stuart Dickinson from Australia. Gregor Townsend sets the game in motion, deep into the 22. And an immediate mistake. That's a little Lamelas, the hooker, making a mess of it. And immediately, Scott Hastings, Scotland have a platform inside the Uruguayan 22.
Well, this is a facet of play that Scotland will want to dominate, but look at the Uruguayan number 8. That's where their strength of their game is. And we've got Gary Armstrong putting the ball in.
Armstrong going himself. Stopped and set up. It's a good ball. Armstrong there again. Townsend tackled hard in the centre. Nobody taking any dummies, at least at the start of the game, from Gregor Townsend. Loops it back inside. Armstrong. Leslie. Chip and chase from Metcalf. Marked there by Cardoso. He just lays it off sideways there to Diego Aguirre, the fly half. He's got a younger brother, Sebastian, also in the squad, and also a fly half, and they both play for the same club, so goodness knows what they do for rugby during the normal season. Now this was an area where Scotland did not excel against South Africa. Bullock throwing was pretty poor. I mean, he dropped below a 70% success rate, which is totally unacceptable in these modern days of line-out. Well, he got away with that. It was just a tiny bit off line to me, but the touch judge and the referee are happy, and that's all that counts. Good drive from the Scottish forward into the Uruguayan 22. Armstrong, but he's collared, but only by the number 7, Panizza, coming offside.
Well, Gary Armstrong just thinking what to do here. He's called up Kenny Logan to go for the safe 3 points, and perhaps that's an indication of just a little bit of nerves in the Scottish camp. I think they just want to get points on the board during the course of this game.
I'm sure that Jim Telfer said to them, Scott, you know, play it as if it's a normal game, because we can't afford to mess around. Just do things as you would do if they were the best country in the world.
It's the type of thing in a game like this that it might open up in the last 20 minutes once they've got quite a few scores on the board, but early doors yet. You know, they've obviously got to just take their points to start with, and we'll see how the game evolves throughout the whole 80 minutes.
Kenny Logan hoists his total for Scotland to 144. 3 minutes gone, Scotland lead 3-0. Well, I have to tell you that my co-commentator Scott Hastings has come in with a sheaf of bets. He'll be hoping that Scotland continue in this vein. I think Sporting Index have got it at a 50-55 spread, but you're going even bigger than that, Scott.
I'm going after 66 points here, but back to the action here.
Penalty to Uruguay. Gregor Townsend, the culprit. And Aguirre. What's he going to do? He's going to go for goal, just calling for the kicking team.
Now we look here, here's the penalty, because number 10, Gregor Townsend, there quite clearly went high with a loose arm. And if he's going to go into a tackle like that, he must drive with the legs and go through, but it was patently too high. Referee penalised him accordingly.
Well, they started at 0-0, it was levelled, and they've got a chance to level it at least once more here. If Diego Aguirre, he got a penalty and a conversion. They use this system of a left-footed kicker from the right side of the pitch and a right-footed kicker from the left. The scrum half Chiara will take them from the other side. Gives it a mighty wallop and straight through the middle. Scotland 3, Uruguay 3. Nice little touch there from Lame, the second row. Here's the little scrum half. Chiara. Kenny Logan cuts back inside. Chiara gets him along with Panizza. And a penalty to Scotland that time. They're just diving in over the top. Rodrigo Sanchez, the loose head prop there. Well, that augurs well. There's a lot to be desired from Gregor Townsend's kicking at the weekend, but he really hit that one well, and I'm sure that the backs coaches have had him out on the practice field doing a lot of kicking since then, Scott.
That's put him in good position here. Gordon Bullock with the second line out. It's important that Gordon keeps hitting his jumpers. There's Scott Murray obviously waiting for the call.
Gathered in beautifully. That's a good ball. At speed, it's Simpson. He can bash holes. One of the kilted Kiwis, as they're known. Alan Tate hoisted unceremoniously, running backwards. He was asking for that. Armstrong, Townsend, Simpson again. So far, good tackling from the Uruguayans. That was a bit flat, but got away with it again. Metcalf. Aguirre hoists it high, Logan underneath it. He takes it. Good timing on the tackle. Armstrong flicks inside. Scotland get themselves into trouble just trying to keep this ball alive. And a little knock-on from Uruguay gives them Scotland the scrum.
Well, Scotland playing a little bit into Uruguayan hands. We know that they're going to be up for the defence. I think they're going to spread it or put the ball certainly behind that Uruguayan defence, but just putting themselves under a little bit of pressure early doors here.
Pablo Lemoyne, the Bristol prop, huge man, 20.5 stones of him, really enjoying his time in England. He says his English is 5 times as good as when he arrived. And the Uruguayans certainly don't intend to just give this one away. I went down to see them in Peebles yesterday, and after 10 minutes the coach chucked me out of their training session. He said, I don't want anybody from Britain seeing any of these moves.
And you being a Welshman, John, passing on tips to Scotland.
You didn't know about that, obviously. There we are. About a stone a man. Sorry, about 3 pounds a man, about just over a stone in all. So not a lot in it, but a hell of a lot of that Uruguayan weight is in the form of Pablo Lemoyne. Simpson gets it away, beautifully supported by Leslie. But unfortunately, the third line of support just wasn't there. Sanchez turns inside. Knock forward from the Uruguayans again. Stuart Dickinson. Armstrong feeds. Simpson to Leslie. Townsend, but he just flicks it on straight in to the arms of Vecino. And the penalty has gone not to Uruguay as Chiara hoped, but to Scotland.
Well, here's Gregor Townsend here, taking the ball off Leslie, who flicks it on to Mayer, but the interception there, it's just a little bit loose here from Scotland here.
Exactly, Scott. You feel they've got to do the basics well first before they start doing this fingertip stuff.
Yeah, a couple of pickups from Simpson at the back, fancy moves off the back. I think they should just be playing it right into Gregor Townsend's hands. He can then dictate the play from there.
Gregor Townsend, no strapping on his knee, and that will be a sight most Scots will like to see. He spent quite a lot of time, he was telling me, up in the Firth of Clyde when they were training up at Troon, standing in the cold water up there to just reduce the swelling, using the waters of the Firth of Clyde instead of an ice pack. They just got the hand to it. That was Bado, the big second row, very effective line out forward. Chiara, Aguirre puts it over the top, but it's straight to Gary Armstrong. And the forwards didn't retreat. They've actually got to actively retreat. They were just standing around within the 10-metre area.
Well, Armstrong was looking for a quick one there, but the referee had words with Gary Armstrong just to let him know what had happened. And Gregor Townsend will have a simple kick, hopefully to put pressure onto Uruguay in Uruguay's 22. Excellent touch find there from Gregor Townsend.
That's a terrific kick, just 3 or 4 metres from the line. 12 minutes gone, Scotland still haven't scored a try.
Only their second foray into actually Uruguayan territory here, and they'll be looking for a good take from the line out here, a really sharp throw from Bullock, and obviously a drive off it.
Just Grimes and the Uruguayans have actually packed tight in there to try and stop the Scots. Now the Scots get it going. Ever closer. Over the line now. Have they got it down? Yes, they have. So the first try in the 13th minute. And the man who comes up with it, I think, was Martin Leslie.
Here we see the try again. Good forward play here from Scotland. Uruguay battled hard to stop the drive, but in amongst the bodies there, Leslie's driven over the line.
Well, he scored a good try against South Africa, did Martin Leslie, and that's his 5th try now in 9 matches for Scotland. And you can hear all the music. The Scottish team have got a different piece of music for every player, which will be played after they score a try. And that was Are You Gonna Go My Way, the intro from the Lenny Kravitz number. Kenny Logan. Again, beautifully struck, and that makes it 10-3 to Scotland.
Well, here we see the try again. Very packed tight by the forwards. Driving over the line, Leslie over.
Aguirre, and they've let it go. It's too long. That'll be a scrum back on halfway, or Scotland have got the option of taking a quick line out. Everybody just checking. A few teams have been caught by that in the past, but in fact they've gone for the scrum back. Tom Smith on this side, Gordon Bullock at hooker, and George Graham on the tight head. Townsend, dummy runners, Metcalf comes through from the back, Leslie keeps it going, Simpson set up for Jamie Mayer. Townsend, they've got men spare out wide. Bullock almost getting in the way, but not called for obstruction. And a knock on by Scotland there. That blur of movement, they achieved so much with it out in Paris in the spring, Scott, but here not working quite so well.
Very, very good defence there from Uruguay, from Costabi. It was a pity because Scotland's attacking platform off the phase ball there was a little bit flat. Nobody came from depth and hit the ball on the angle.
Just getting ready. Cameron Murray to take the quick throw, thinks better of it. 10-3. And 16 minutes gone. Bullock, and they came up with the ball, but it wasn't from the man that they intended to throw it to. It was Martin Leslie who got a hand to it to rescue it. Townsend, Leslie in everything, but knocked forward by Pountney.
Well, one of the errors creeping into Scotland's game again. It's just, this is the area that Jim Telfer wants to avoid again. Good pass, delayed pass. Leslie goes through, but he tries and flicks the ball up. Butch Pountney just didn't quite get his hands to the ball.
Chiara. And pressure on Aguirre, but he gets his kick safely into touch. Aguirre sometimes plays scrum half, apparently. He's a mighty big scrum half, 6'1.5" tall, 15 stone. Big man for an outside half. Well, again, it wasn't certain. Pountney to Leslie. Those two back row forwards working well in tandem wide out. In goes Armstrong, burrowing in to get that ball out. And again, coming in from the side, that was Lamé, the second row, but he joined the ruck halfway up. He must come in from behind the hindmost foot.
Again, extremely lateral play there from Scotland without anybody coming in and hitting the ball at pace and trying to get deep into that Uruguayan defence. And also, it was slow ball, hence the penalty. And as a result, Gregor Townsend's just pinned Uruguay back a little bit deeper into their own 22.
Gregor Townsend now playing his club rugby at Brive, that hotbed of rugby in the west of France. That's a better throw. Back round the front. Easy stuff. Armstrong in for the try. Well worked set move. A front peel. And the captain gets the try. And that's only his 5th try for Scotland in his 49th international.
Well, a good try there by Scotland. That was straight off the training park. You could see that, the way they executed the movement. It was very, very slick. Here we are with Simpson with a great catch and take. He feeds. Note the Uruguayan forwards going round to the side there, by which time Leslie's come back and fed Armstrong going down the blind. Excellent try from Scotland's skipper.
Leslie in it again. He was the support man from the back of the lineup who made the extra man to give Armstrong the run in. And Gary Armstrong's piece of music ready to go from Republica. Kenny Logan, the Wasps wing. Well, he's striking the ball very well indeed. That one's over to 17-3. Scotland lead.
Here's the try again from the reverse angle. Great play by Simpson. Leslie put in the clear and delivers a good pass to Gary Armstrong.
Aguirre. Lovely jump there from Scott Murray. Simpson. Bullock takes it up again. Bit more space this time on the setup. Gregor Townsend. Scotland recycling it again. Oh, and the pass inside was a little too clumsy. Metcalf is back though. And a penalty to the Uruguayans. And it's Alan Tate who the referee says deliberately he just left himself in the way and took the man out.
The hands are up saying nothing to do with me, ref, but he was properly picked up there, and a needless penalty in all honesty.
Alan Tate though, a real old pro, he's had a wonderful career. His debut right back in 1987, one of the 5 players there are in this tournament who took part in that 87 tournament. And he then of course went to Rugby League with Widnes, had 16 Great Britain caps at Rugby League, and after a 9-year gap came back to Union and made the 97 Lions tour, scored a try for them in the first test victory. Now 35 years old, but really enjoying his rugby still. And here you can see the Uruguayan tactics that we were talking about. This is little Chiara, who's just to the left of the post, so he will kick right-footed. Over it goes. Well, they haven't looked like scoring a try, but they're still in the game at this stage. 22 minutes gone. 17-6. Scotland lead. Panizza gathers it in well. Both the Uruguayan flankers look very useful. Aguirre finds a good touch, but effectively, Scott, they're giving possession back to Scotland unless Scotland make a mess of this, because they really haven't got the armour to compete in the line-out, have they?
As long as Gordon Bullock keeps us throwing in straight and they don't overcomplicate the calls, I think that's what we're looking for, or certainly what Scotland are looking for, and Coach Scotland, Jim Telfer.
Going to the back, off the top from Scott Murray. Townsend, he's just saw him take the look and go for that little gap and then look for support inside. Chip and chase from Kenny Logan, gathered in well there by Menchaca, and he marked it as he caught it. Well, you don't have to be stationary anymore to make the mark. This touch, Metcalf. Now Metcalf spotting a little bit of space. He's got real pace. And the ball killed by Uruguay. Penalty Scotland. Referee Stuart Nicholson just having a chat with Omachia. I can guess what he's saying. I'm sure what he's telling him is that already it's becoming apparent that the Uruguayans are deliberately trying to kill the ball, and he's not going to have it.
Yeah, this is a tactic that I saw Uruguay use against their game against Spain, and it has a tendency for the South Americans to go over the top to try and kill the ball to stop. And here we see Murray going and taking on, and Ormachia, their captain, quite obviously, look at him, he's just lying on top of Murray there. He's making no attempt to get off him so that Scotland can release the ball.
Bullock to Grimes that time, but it wasn't straight. First mistake from Scotland in the line out, and that's given away a key position. The Uruguayans now have the scrum 10 metres from their own line. A little signal from the referee saying that the front rows went up. He's not blaming anybody this time. Pablo Lemoyne and his hooker Diego Lamelas. Chiara finds Aguirre, and he can't make much of a touch from that angle. Scotland with another chance inside the Uruguayan 22. The whole of the back division, apart from Alfonso Cardoso, the fullback from the Carrasco Polo Club, so they ought to have a good understanding. Scott Murray again down the back. Big drive from the Scottish forwards. They really hit the back of that line out with power and pace. And are they going all the way? Not quite. And the Uruguayans again all over it. They were offside that time. Penalty to Scotland. Gary Armstrong just having the ball kicked out of his hand as he tried to take a quick penalty.
Well, Gary Armstrong's got a penalty here. I would actually take the scrum. Scotland are obviously doing well in the scrum here, and certainly from the set piece it might open up more opportunity.
So it's going to be a little tap and go. Big drive comes on again. Oh, they've almost got the scrum formation there. They must surely get over. And the referee couldn't see it. I think we'll find they probably did get that down, but he was quite right. He couldn't see it. I think that was Stuart Grimes thinking I've been robbed of a try.
Yes, but there's a lot of bodies here, and that's the problem sometimes about taking one of these. But quite obviously, Grimes has gone down there and scored a try, and the referee's missed it.
Yeah, he had to be around the front to see that one, but our cameras caught it. Desperate defence from the Uruguayans. They've got to be careful. They cannot take the scrum down or up. On goes the big drive. The ball between Simpson's feet. Secondary shove coming on from Scotland. Well held though by the Uruguayans. It's gone through 90 degrees, so it'll be reset. Scotland's put in yet again. There's the men having to take all the pressure. Sanchez, Lamelas and Lemoyne. This time, Metcalf trying to wriggle over, has to set it up though. It was a pile-up. It wasn't a ruck or maul, and it wasn't going to come out. So the referee giving Scotland a scrum again.
Well, pressure still on here. That's important for Scotland. And surprisingly, they released that one early doors to the back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this time. Whether the forwards keep it in, or whether the backs have another chance.
Picked up by Simpson. Over he goes. Nobody really laying a hand on him at all. And he'll enjoy that one particularly because it's his first try for Scotland. Gordon Simpson, born in Auckland, but resident in Scotland.
Well, these tries actually look so easily, but again, the scrummage platform, if you note, the scrum just takes a little shift there on the right, which allows Simpson the space to dive over under the posts.
Gordon Simpson qualifies. His mother's father was from Glasgow. Played 30 games for Wellington in the Interprovincial Championship and the Wellington Hurricanes in the Super 12. Tough, gritty performer. Taking over from Eric Peters at number 8 because of Peters' injury. Logan's on target again. And Scotland lead 24-6 with half an hour gone.
Here we see the scrum once again. A good hook from Bullock there. Just out of shot. It was just George Graham who burrowed in, turned that scrum a little bit. And there's Simpson with a step off his right, beats the tackle of Aguirre and dots the ball down beside the post there.
Budge Pountney getting a little bit of attention in the middle of the Uruguayan half, so Scotland effectively down to 14 men. Simpson straight back into the action, catching the kick-off and carrying it up. George Graham enjoying a real Indian summer. Graham winning his 10th cap, wasn't capped until he was 30. Another one who went to rugby league. He played rugby league for Carlisle. Simpson, Armstrong, hands off one man. And away goes Kenny Logan. Out to Armstrong, but Metcalf it is who gets in there and takes it first. He gets over and the tries given. Protests. Vecino is saying it was a double movement and is imploring the touch judge to step in and disallow the try. He's having none of it. And Glenn Metcalf scores his second try for Scotland.
Well, wonderful running here. Armstrong breaks the tackle. Could have fed earlier, but look at the support running here from Kenny Logan. He takes the ball inside, then throws the ball outside. Metcalf takes, steps inside, and has the power and the strength to go over the line in the corner.
Yeah, I think that was a good try. No problems there. It wasn't a second movement. He's allowed, when he's tackled, to do something immediately, and that includes placing the ball, and that's what he did.
Yeah, just earlier in that shot, it looked as though Kenny Logan may have thrown the pass forward to Metcalf, and that was where the Uruguayans were complaining.
Glenn Metcalf, another one of the kilted Kiwis, born in Auckland, playing his 9th consecutive test. Oh, it's a good kick, but it's just going to fade to the left of the posts. So it stays 29 to Scotland, 6 to Uruguay.
Good break here from Armstrong. He's got great power there. Look at the support from Logan, trying to support him. He calls. You can hear the communication almost from that replay. Gives a good pass overhead to the supporter Metcalf, who has the awareness to actually hand off Armstrong first of all, but good strength to get to the corner.
Yeah, you were saying this one's mine. You've already had a try, Gary. I'm going to grab one. Scott Murray seems to have picked up where he left off last season. He had a terrific season last season. For me, was the player of the championship. Gregor Townsend. Cardoso. He hoists it high back, and Metcalf underneath it. Wide to Gary Armstrong, and there's wide open spaces out there. Back goes Costabile getting back to it, and the scrum is going to go Scotland's way.
Well, just coming out of shot here's Glenn Metcalf, who wraps up Costabile in the tackle, pulls his jersey off him actually, but it was great awareness first of all from Gary Armstrong, because Cardoso had taken the ball for Uruguay, thumped it downfield, and it was Gary Armstrong, knowing the fullback was out of his 22, who found space there in the Uruguayan danger area.
Well, there are strict regulations on what padding you can wear, but as you see now, quite a lot of the rugby players wearing quite a bit of stuff underneath their jerseys. Jim Telfer closest to the camera, Ian McGeechan furthest away. Telfer, it's just he's going to retire as coach after the World Cup, and Ian McGeechan will take over. The two, of course, have worked so well in tandem, both for Scotland and for the British Lions. Obstruction against Scotland. We're down in the tunnel. We've got Jim Delahunt. Jim, over to you.
Thanks, John. We heard Gavin Hastings chatting to Jim Rosenthal in the studio before the match about the crowd. Well, we haven't got an official figure yet. It looks close to 10,000. But I was in the South African camp yesterday morning, and one or two of their players were suggesting that with the number of South African fans expected to arrive in Edinburgh tomorrow, the crowd for Sunday's game, South Africa-Spain, could even be bigger than that for this afternoon, Scotland-Uruguay. That would be interesting and also very worrying for Scottish rugby, given the comments of Jim Telfer yesterday. He's clearly rattled that there's not a big enough crowd here this afternoon.
Well, for once, the Uruguayans rattling the Scottish pack. A terrific drive from them. That's taken them all of 30 metres. Oh, and Scott Murray slowing that one down by getting in the way. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it wasn't deliberate, but it looked awfully like a professional foul to me. Big tackle there from Grimes. Penalty to the Uruguayans.
Well, the referee's saying holding in the tackle, so he's penalised Scotland from a previous infringement, so I don't think it was letting go of the player on the ground at the time.
Aguirre finds touch inside the Scottish 22. Aguirre showing a little Latin temperament perhaps there. That didn't look as if he was in accord with his captain. Well, Scotland have lost that one that wasn't straight. Uruguay have only thrown the ball in twice, but they've won it. It's now 3 out of 3. Good drive off the side. Great drive from the Uruguayans. They're just 5 metres short. Trying to wriggle off the other way. And even little Chiara getting in there and pushing in the back of the maul. They're only a metre short now. On goes the drive again. Have they got over? And it's going to be a Uruguayan scrum. Great effort from the Uruguayans, Scott.
That was wonderful driving play. If you note their body positions, they were extremely low, and Ormachea there. He is a powerhouse actually at number 8. The 40-year-old, okay, looking a bit out of breath, but well-drilled, controlled play from the line out.
And it was from the tight loose that he actually scored that first try for Uruguay in the World Cup against Spain. There you see the massive figure, number 3, Pablo Lamagna. 20.5 stones, which puts him right up there with Os Durant as the biggest man in the World Cup. Just a bit of attention. I know Bob Dwyer, the Bristol coach, the man who coached Australia to the World Cup win in 1991, thinks he's got a real good buy in Lemoyne. Well, he's forced up on that occasion. Quite difficult scrummaging for him. He is a tall man and up against two very short Scottish props. Now they've got the drive really swinging it round, coming to the open side. Can they get over? Well, again, Stuart Dickinson being consistent, if nothing else.
Well, certainly they're getting over the line, but they're not actually getting the ball line. Good defence there from Scotland, but superb driving. Again, note the body positions from these South Americans. They're absolutely superb and technically very, very good.
Juan Carlos Bado there, the big second row. Getting a good push. It's coming round, though. It's swinging. It's gone through 90 degrees, so they'll have to reset that. Tom Smith is 5'10", George Graham barely 5'8", and you've got Pablo Lemoyne up at 6'1" plus. Free kick to the Uruguayans. Scotland pushing too early. That looks like Lemoyne. Just trying to take a quick one, get the momentum going. Well stopped by the Scots the first time. And that time they didn't get the ball onto the ground. It was a maul, and the use it or lose it rule came into force. So Scotland have the put in, the maul was stopped, they didn't get the ball down to the ground to allow it to be healed, and therefore Scotland get the put in. Well into injury time now at the end of this first half. We've already had over 2 minutes. Armstrong, no fancy stuff there. Down the middle to Cardoso. And that was a high tackle, I think. Cardoso, I think it was Leslie.
Well, here's the incident here. Great take by Cardoso. Sidesteps Murray, but here comes the tackle from Leslie, comes in. Oh, it was a high one, it really was. He didn't get his arms. If you note here, you've actually got to put your hands round the tackler, your arms round the tackler, but he just goes in with the shoulder and a bit high.
Yeah, that was a bit of a naughty one. That was high, and no wonder Cardoso is taking some time to get up.
Well, he hasn't really moved actually since he got the hit. It's a timing thing sometimes. He seemed to duck as he went into the tackle. Here we have another look at this one. Well, no, it was actually very high from Leslie, a bit negligent there.
If you're saying it was high, Scott, it was definitely high. These Scots don't like to criticise their teammates, but it was. We got it out of Scott. It was a nasty one. And he has had a yellow card caution, and just certainly not a dirty player, Martin Leslie. Cardoso's okay, that's important.
The way the game's moved on over the last few years, I think all teams are looking for the big hit, and without doubt Martin Leslie was actually going for the big hit there, but as Cardoso ducked into the tackle, he just took him a little bit high above the shoulders.
Well, we're coming up to 5 minutes of injury time with that injury to Cardoso. And that gives little Chiara a chance to post a third penalty. Struck it well, but he's pulled it wide of the left post. Stuart Dickinson looks at his watch, he whistles up, that's half time, and Scotland leading Uruguay 29 points to 6.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Scott. Rejoin us at Murrayfield for the views of Francois Pienaar and Gavin Hastings.
It's looking good. Oh dear.
At B&Q, we buy big. You get these 12-volt cordless drills for the lowest price around.
Only $24.99. Look at what you get. Keyless chuck, variable speeds, forward, reverse.
It comes with 25 accessories and a carrying case, all for $24.99. You can do it when you B&Q it.
How refreshing. How Heineken.
What are you, Bob? 28. There's a great future for you here. Very good. We're going to have to tighten our belts.
Can you hear me? Run the contract.
Daddy, is it your office?
At Scottish Widows, we've made sure that our savings, pensions and investments are flexible enough to deal with whatever life deals you. Scottish Widows. Looking good for your money.
Ready? Smile.
Getting together is always rewarding. Even more so if you join New BT together. You get up to 3 hours of inclusive call time every month. Simpler, lower prices. And half-price additional line connection. All of this all in one for just $11.99 a month, including your line rental.
And give my regard to your alien friend. Such a vivid imagination.
Get BT together. Call 0800 05 5555 and stay in touch.
Dad, I'm gay. Oh, that's all right, son. That's your decision. It's the 90s after all. You're shot.
How refreshing. How Heineken.
At B&Q, we buy big. You get this garden vac with built-in shredder for the lowest price around. Only £49. You can do it when you B&Q it.
Oh, that is good, isn't it? Picture book stuff.
So then half-time at Murrayfield, the Scots leading Uruguay by 29 points to 6. Former Scotland captain Gavin Hastings, how do you see the first half?
Well, I think the Scots will be reasonably relaxed. I don't think they've played some great rugby, but they've been reasonably clinical. They've not been flashy. They knew that Uruguay would come at them for the first 20-25, and fair play to Uruguay. They almost deserved a try right in half-time there. But I think I would really hope to see Scotland expand everything and really run riot in the second half. I certainly hope that we do that.
Francois, you're up some?
I never thought they took their first penalty and they went for the post to get the 3 points under the belt. We showed that they were approaching this game in all honesty. I disagree a little bit with Gavin, if I may, Gavin.